Welcome everybody to the very first episode of Cliff Notes Sports Vlog or blog or podcast, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what I'm going to personally call it yet, but I know this has been a long time coming. A lot of people wanted to see me do this. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. Try to get my footwork into the sports world. I know a lot of y'all see me on Twitter, _ Cliff Notes. If y'all haven't heard of me, Cliff Notes with a Z at the end. So I've been wanting to do this for a long time. A lot of people have seen me do it. They've seen me come up from radio when I did it at school at Lincoln University, first HBCU. Remember that. So basically, what this is going to be is I'm just going to try to give everybody a different type of episode on sports every week. So whatever's going on in the sports world, like the draft lotteries coming up for the NBA, the Eagles draft that just passed, everything that was in Philly. So I'm just going to give y'all different perspectives of what's going on in the sports world, and just hope everybody can tune in. You can also follow my written sports blog on it's Cliff Notes with a 0. It's the number 0. So Cliff Notes, where the notes at? Got the number 0. .wordpress.com. So follow that. That's my written sports blog. Like I said, my Instagram _ Cliff Notes with a Z. My Twitter _ Cliff Notes with a Z. All I do is talk about sports on Twitter and the occasional ratchet stuff. So follow me for that. At the end of every video, I'm gonna want y'all to leave comments down below what y'all think or what y'all want to argue me down about. Because everything I say is not gold. If y'all got a better perspective on it, then let me know. We can argue about it in the comments. But as for right now, this is Cliff Notes signing in, and then we're gonna get to what we're talking about. The annual NBA draft lottery is coming up on Tuesday. And I'm a Sixers fan. I got a lot of followers on Twitter that's Sixers fans. I got a lot of followers on Instagram that's Sixers fans. I know a lot of Sixers fans. So I just wanted to dedicate the first episode to Sixers fans. Now, for my Sixers fans, I'm on tankathon.com right now. I'm about to do a lottery pool to see what picks we could possibly get in the draft. Hold on. So we're going to simulate. All right, so the pool I just did, the Mavericks got the top pick, but the Sixers ended up getting the 5th pick. So that's my first pool. I'm not going to do no more pools, but number 5, that would be cool. With the draft lottery coming up, I know a lot of people are hoping that the Sixers get either the number 1 pick, well, somewhere in the top 5, or 2 picks. Now, the 2 picks will come from us getting that Lakers pick, which will have to drop out of the top 3 because it's top 3 protected, and then we will have to get. Now, a lot of people are hoping we get maybe 1 and 4, 2 and 4, or wherever the Lakers fall. We're just hoping that we get their pick. Now, the pick that I don't want us to have is number 2. And number 2, I don't want us to have that because I feel like we're going to be obligated to take Mr. Lonzo Ball and his daddy problems, or if you want to call him problems, or if you want to say he exploiting his kid, whatever. But that's the problem I don't want to have, and I'm going to let y'all know that. I'm going to let y'all know why I feel like that's a problem. Before I start talking about Mr. Ball, I'm going to want to start talking about what the Sixers currently have as a roster and what they have as their nucleus. So what it looks like right now will be the starting lineup for next season. It looks like it'll be Ben Simmons at our full-time point guard because Brett Brown has come out and said that Ben Simmons right now is our full-time point guard. Just like how Mike D'Antoni changed James Harden from the shooting guard position to the point guard position. We're going to try Ben out at the point forward position as of next season. So we're going to have Ben as our point guard. And then the shooting guard or the small forward, it's probably going to be one of the picks from our top 5. If not, then the shooting guard, then the small forward will be Robert Covington. Power forward, you have to start Dario Saric unless you want to bring him off the bench. He did considerably well coming off the bench last season. And at our center is going to be, of course, the process Joel Embiid. So the Sixers are a team on the rise. It does seem like this pick that we have in this upcoming draft will be the piece that we need to finally take off. We know the process has been very long. It's been about 3 going on 4 years long, starting from the Michael Carter-Williams trade, grabbing Nerlens Noel, getting the 3 straight big men, Nerlens, Joel Embiid, Okafor. It's been a long time, but it feels like this pick that's coming up in the draft lottery that's going to come up, it feels like this pick is going to be the piece. And then we're starting to attract more free agents, as I know a lot of people have seen that Kyle Lowry now wants to sign with us, which I don't want to happen, but that's for an entirely different episode. Kyle Lowry now wants to sign with us. Like I said, we're attracting more free agents. Like I said, the roster that we have next year, I'm expecting us to be in the playoffs. So this pick that we have, we can't mess it up. It's very hard to mess it up with a deep draft class like this when you got players like Markelle Fultz, Josh Jackson, Jason Tatum. It just feels like we cannot mess this up. Basically, we can't. So we can't go out and take another big man when we have a glut of big men. We have about 4. So with probably Jahlil Okafor is probably going to be traded, but we can't mess this draft up. So now, what the Sixers need in this upcoming NBA draft or even in free agency, we need somebody that can attack from the wing, that can create their own space, create their own shot. Right now, we don't really have someone that can do that except for Joel Embiid out on the low post. Dario Saric doesn't really create his own shot. He's usually getting his off-ball screens, different post-up moves, different things like that. So what we should be looking for to aim in this draft is we need a scoring player. Now, that's why a lot of people want Markelle Fultz at the number 1 position. They feel like we should do anything to trade up to that position. But you can get a guy like Markelle Fultz, Josh Jackson, Jason Tatum. Now, Josh Jackson, he can't really shoot, but he is growing his jump shot, so it's not terrible. But our main concern is someone who can score when we clearly see that Ben Simmons is a passive player, and when we can't throw the ball down to Joel Embiid and they're double teaming him in the post. So we definitely need a player that can score from the wing and that can defend. And right now we don't have that. We do need a shooter, but I feel like we can pick up a shooter in free agency. The one player I don't want the Sixers to get is UCLA Bruins 6'6" point guard Lonzo Ball. Now, if we do land that number 2 pick in the upcoming NBA draft lottery, I feel like we're going to be forced to grab Lonzo Ball. Now, I'm not saying that I don't want us to grab Lonzo Ball because he's a bad player or he won't contribute. Nah, that's not the reason at all. Now, everything I'm about to say, I don't want to seem like I'm bashing Lonzo. I just want everybody to understand why I don't want the Sixers to draft Lonzo Ball at that number 2 spot. Now, like I just said, Lonzo Ball is a 6'6" point guard out of UCLA. A lot of people know him from LeVar Ball. He just dropped some $500 basketball sneakers that nobody's going to buy because they look exactly like Kobe's, and Kobe sells his sneakers for $175 or $200, something like that. But that's besides the point. Now, Lonzo Ball averaged 14.6 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 7.6 assists. Why I don't think he will fit with the Sixers, because like I just said, the Sixers need a scorer. They need somebody who can attack off the wing and create their own shot. And if you think about it, Lonzo Ball he's not that player. Lonzo Ball is the guy. He's a great facilitator. He can get you in your spot. He can catch you. He can get you while you're in stride, coming down the court on a fast break, shooting a jumper. Lonzo Ball is not very aggressive, and I think that showed in the loss in the Sweet 16 to Kentucky versus De'Aaron Fox. When UCLA needed a basket, Lonzo couldn't deliver it. Now, when you think about Lonzo's game, he really doesn't have a pull-up jumper, which he's going to struggle with in the NBA because his form is so weird, because he shoots from the left to the right. It's kind of weird. But his form is weird, so he doesn't really have a pull-up jumper. A lot of his points come from threes, and if he has an easy lane to the basket for a layup. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, no, you're wrong. He's great one-on-one. He can do whatever. He can score whenever he wants. No, if you think about Lonzo Ball, is not a great one-on-one player. His moves, his dribble stance doesn't even. You can see that he doesn't really have a lot of dribble moves to get by somebody. He just uses his athleticism, because he's not very fast, but he just uses his athleticism and his strength to get by people. He doesn't, like I just said, he doesn't score when he wants. Okay, so Lonzo gets a lot of his points from the threes, from three-pointers, and the occasional step-back three, and when he has easy driving lanes to the basket, or as everybody knows him from the alley-oops that he gets when he dunks on somebody. But other than that, Lonzo Ball is not a great one-on-one player. You'll never see Lonzo Ball, and you'll never think that's a tough bucket that Lonzo just made. You don't really see Lonzo Ball with a lot of and-one plays. He doesn't really break anybody down on the offensive side of the ball. He's not a great defender, and that showed again in the Sweet 16 loss when De'Aaron Fox lit him up for 39, I believe. Which De'Aaron Fox has killed Lonzo Ball throughout their entire career, even in high school. I know De'Aaron Fox in their first matchup, he gave Lonzo 20, and Lonzo only had 14, but it's a completely different story. But like I said, Lonzo Ball he's not a shot creator for it. He doesn't create his own shot. He can create a shot for somebody else. And even when you think about that, Lonzo's not his pass. He's a great facilitator. Lonzo's passing is not thread the needle like dimes, like we saw with Ben Simmons. His is more like I said, he gets you in stride. He can get you in a good position to score. He makes it easier. That's why he's a great point guard, and a lot of people compare him to Jason Kidd. Which is why I don't think he will fit with the Sixers, because the Sixers need somebody that can break somebody down when we can't get the ball to Joel Embiid because he's down there getting double teamed on the low post. And if you put Lonzo Ball with Ben Simmons, they're just both. We need someone aggressive. Neither one of them are aggressive players, and that's the problem that I have with Lonzo Ball. My biggest problem with Lonzo Ball is that he doesn't really show up against top talent in competition. In that first meeting with Kentucky, Lonzo only had 14 points. He had 6 assists and 7 rebounds. Hold on real quick. Oh, he had 7 assists and 6 rebounds. And then when you go down to that loss against Oregon, he only had 14 points. He shot 5 of 11 from the field and 3 of 8 from the 3-point line. And we can go down to Arizona. They lost twice to Arizona. Well, yeah, they did. They lost twice to Arizona against Alonzo Cheer and them boys. So the first game he shot 10 for 15. He did shoot 66% and did have 24 points. That's the games that we would need from Lonzo Ball, but we would need those on a nightly basis. And Lonzo just doesn't bring that. And their other loss against Arizona, it was the last game before March Madness in the NCAA tournament. He shot 2 for 7, 1 for 6 from the 3-point line, and he only had 8 points. So UCLA did have a good year this year. I think they went. I gotta find their record, but I think they went like 23-4 or something like that this entire season. But Lonzo might be a product of his team because he doesn't really put up big numbers and his team still wins. A lot of times Lonzo didn't even take the last shot. Bryce Alford took the last shot, either him or T.J. Leaf. Now they're both. Well, T.J. Leaf I know is supposed to go in the first round of the draft this year. Bryce Alford didn't declare, but I need more scoring from Lonzo Ball if we were to take him. I'm cool with the facilitating. Lonzo could probably be better on another team, just strictly a facilitator. Like I said, Jason Kidd was a great facilitator, and that's a lot of people compare Lonzo and Jason Kidd. But in order to be on the Sixers right now and where we are in this in the rebuilding process, and we're actually hoping to make the playoffs next year, I just don't feel as though Lonzo will be a good fit because he just doesn't give the scoring that we need. We have a facilitator in Ben Simmons. We have a low post scorer right now. Now, if Lonzo was to sit outside the perimeter, shoot threes, and he could take it to the rack a couple times a game, that would be great. But he's just not that type of player. Lonzo needs the ball in his hands. If you watch all the games that they lost or won, like the big games like I just named, the one against Kentucky, one against Oregon, 2 against Arizona, he wasn't really active the entire game. Sometimes he disappeared, especially in the first game against Kentucky. He didn't come alive until the last couple shots of the game. He actually disappeared for most of that game. And even in the loss to Kentucky in the Sweet 16, a lot of people saw he wasn't aggressive. Even LeVar said it personally on ESPN2 Stephen A. He's spoken to Lonzo and has wanted Lonzo to get more aggressive, but you can tell that's just not his character. Now, that's a way we could. I don't want to say that could mess up that pick. So say if the Sixers select Lonzo, I don't want to say that could that's a mess up in the draft because Lonzo's a great player, but on my end, I feel like that's a mess up. That's a mess up on our end in the draft. I mean, you don't know how he'll turn out. Maybe Ben Simmons becomes more aggressive. Maybe Ben Simmons averages 30 next year, and Lonzo is averaging 15 assists with him. Now I don't know that, but from what I've seen, what we have on paper right now, Lonzo just isn't a good fit for the Philadelphia 76ers. And now, like I said, he could be great somewhere else. He could probably be great on the late, like a lot of people want him to go to the Lakers. They can move D'Angelo Russell over to the 2. Lonzo can stay at the 1, and he can facilitate. You got Julius Randle, you got Jordan Clarkson over there. You got Brandon Ingram. He can facilitate to all those players and make them better, and it's more like the UCLA system that he was in college. Now the Sixers aren't built that way, so I'm just not. I'm cool. I'm cool off of Lonzo Ball, honestly. He's a great player. I just want everybody to know that Lonzo is a great player. I just don't think he'll fit in this system. Like I said, if we do get the number 2 pick in the draft, I feel like we're going to be forced to pick Lonzo. But if the organization is looking a different way, and like we need a scorer and we need a different a player that's going to make a bigger difference on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, I don't know why we can't just skip down to selecting a player like Josh Jackson, Jason Tatum, Malik Monk, even De'Aaron Fox. We just need someone that can score with the ball in their hands. They can create their own space. Like I said, Lonzo will probably be great on another team, but I just don't think he's a good fit for the Sixers. So let me know what you think. Write it down in the comments below. You can argue me down all y'all want. You probably won't win, but that's my thoughts. It's Cliff Notes signing out.